Alright guys, it is time for another video. It's been way too long, so I'm going to explain what's going on. What is going on with the car? Alright, so just got back from Weir Performance, and we did the Giken 1.5 way LSD, clutch type. And it's a 456 final drive ratio going on with the rear diff. There's a solid pinion snuffer inside. Little spacer here to get these perfectly equalized. You guys can see absolutely perfect mesh when it comes to the gear set. Essentially, this is a 1,000 wheel horsepower setup for this weight of a chassis, which is somewhere in the realm of 2,400 to 2,600 pounds. And I'm never going to make that. There's no frickin' way. So what I just got done doing is I took one of these little freeze plugs, dropped this in here. I always suggest using a thread sealant, white stuff. Then I just take my little 3/8 adapter, drop this sucker in, and then hammer it away. And you have to make sure you go down past that taper. You see right where it's painted, I'm about 1/16 of an inch past that taper. If you don't go far enough, that has the chance of going back out again and popping out with the pressure. And another really cool thing about this rear differential, and I'll explain why I'm going 456 as well. So this is a 1350 rated drive shaft. And this is from, I believe, Tom Woods. So this is a very thick, very well machined part. And normally what happens in all the Chinese nitro gear bullshit adapters is they have a concentricity problem. So like when they're machined in, this hole is not perfectly centered. So this thing's going to wobble around like this. At higher RPM, that's going to create a huge problem with reverberation in the driveline. So Spence at Weir Performance went through the whole thing. He said this one was actually very good compared to normal. And the thickness of this thing is beef compared to factory, which actually, here, I'll show you guys. So yeah, we're definitely in the realm of some big power shit now. And I didn't want this to be my weak link, so went ahead and went with the 1350 U-joint for my drive shaft ends. This is getting a Sonax aluminum forged end caps. It's a Mark Williams chromoly 3-inch drive shaft with a Sonax, whatever they call the other end of that. It's the splined input. So super beefy, overbuilt for this chassis and this weight. And the 456, that's actually really good. People be like, why is your gearing so damn short? Well, okay, let's think about it this way. We've got a T56 Magnum, okay? That is the TUET 11009. That thing has a double overdrive. And if I'm in, let's say, 6th gear on the highway, it's somewhere between 32 and 3,500 RPM. That's 80 miles an hour. I do not need to go 100 miles an hour at cruising RPM for a rotary engine. So that's like the perfect ratio at 32 to 3,500 RPM, a cruising RPM. So with 25-inch tall tires, which is what they're hiding right there, which is what a 255 4017 ends up being, and the 456 and the double overdrive, the highway speed ends up being perfect. It also ends up making something like 45 RPM first gear. 45 miles an hour first gear, 80 something mile an hour second gear. It ends up being a really beautiful spacing. I can post that up in another video. But yeah, just going through and doing all my final touches here. I've got my Wasp Performance Starter, which I'm still clearancing. Oh geez, I gotta climb under there. Still clearancing the starter valley right there. So right here is going to be polished so the starter can sit there nicely. That's using the Bolo de Humo kit, Ball of Fire. Pretty cool stuff. So let's go back to the rear end, kind of explain what's going on here. Tony of FFR Fabrication did a 6-lug to 5-lug conversion for me, which I'm very thankful for. This is a 300M steel alloy, very, very thick boy axle. These were cut to length. I really appreciate this work. It came out beautiful. And I think we'll have no problem with putting a bunch of power into it. So here is the finalized rear geometry. I'm going to go through and reset everything as far as truing it up. But the idea is the pinion angle change for the full stroke of the suspension. Pinion angle change is like 0.2 of a degree per inch of stroke. So we never have to worry about that sort of deflection. I've got new roll bar end links, which are about to be zeroed out for zero preload. Everything is installed loose right now because I'm just waiting to finalize the rear end first. Take drive shaft measurements for Mark Williams. And yeah, overall, she's dialed back here. So we've got fuel system completed. I made a few mock-ups for a rock shield. So as this goes up in stroke, this gets to about here. And so I've got a rock shield that goes over the whole fuel system, which, as you can see, I designed it to be just about flat. You know, that one fitting right here is a little bit close. So fuel system is dialed in, very easy access except for the pre-pump filter, which is going to be kind of a pain in the ass to change out. And yeah, overall things are very good over here with speccing it all out, finishing it up, and pretty much upgrading everything I can before we throw power to it. The motor is about 3 weeks away, so good to finally have that and have a very competent group of people working with me. So it's been a huge group effort, and I'm very thankful for it. So just going to go through the final touches, get the chassis prepped, and then we'll be good to go. And that's it for now. Just going to start cleaning up. Definitely looking forward to changing out and beefing up more of this car as things develop. But yeah, we're definitely on the right track here. So we should have a first fire, I would say, by the end of the summer, if the wiring harness and everything takes less than a month. So fingers crossed. Let's roll.